It is our last day in Berlin, but we are heading out of Berlin. Filippo wants to go to Potsdam to go and look at the palace.
The Chateau Sanssouci.
The Schloss.
Schloss Sanssouci.
My name is Curtis Ryan Woodside. I'm a filmmaker and Egyptologist. After a year and a half of waiting to get back, last year I started to make my move to Italy permanent. I have visited Tuscany a couple of times before, but this time it's a little different. Now it's about settling in. So come with me on my adventures in Italy and beyond, as I capture a video diary of my life and see what myself, Filippo, our family and friends get up to every week.
It is our last day in Berlin, but we are heading out of Berlin. Filippo wants to go to Potsdam to go and look at the palace.
The Chateau Sanssouci.
The Schloss. The
Schloss
Schloss.
Sanssouci.
Yes. So we're waiting for our train,
Yeah.
and you're coming with.
This palace was built in 1745 by the German-Prussian king Frederick II. Named Sanssouci, in French it means without worry. Unlike other royal palaces in Potsdam, Sanssouci is one of the smallest and was built along the French chateau style of having each room connected by a very long corridor. Upon Frederick II's request, the interiors of the palace were done in the French Rococo style, one of his favorites. Frederick II was an extremely cultured man, to the despair of his father. He was interested in history and music, and this is reflected through the entirety of his palace. Fascinated by mythology, you will find Greek and Roman-inspired statues throughout, like this statue of Dionysus. This is a bust of the Egyptian queen Cleopatra VII, a very interesting replica made from the bust found at Villa Appia in 1784. The main reason this is such a small palace is because this was the summer palace of King Frederick II, where he would go every summer to escape from political life. Frederick's personal library was then off limits to the public, and still is now, and was filled with books on history. Frederick II's father did not very much appreciate his son's level of culture and was not very interested in art, history, or music, which is another reason why Frederick built this palace as a way to escape, to rebel, and relax in his own settings. This ceiling in the king's personal living room is filled with zodiac signs. Quite interesting, actually. Sanssouci was the favorite palace of Frederick II, coming here every summer this was a place for him to escape from political life, as he had become bored with politics after fighting in many battles. It was on this very spot, on the 17th of August 1786, in this exact chair, that Frederick the Great died. Frederick II was a great lover of nature and had this bronze statue created showing himself with his two favorite hunting dogs. This is the music room at Sanssouci. Frederick II was an accomplished musician in his own right. He composed 121 sonatas, several arias, and 4 operas. The king had a law passed that any operas that he attended were free admission for the public. Frederick II's instrument of choice was the flute, this very flute we see here above the harpsichord. When he did his lessons with his musical instructor, the instructor was only allowed to criticize the king by slightly coughing. In fact, the music you're listening to on this video was composed by Frederick II himself. The music room is of course decorated with scenes from Greek mythology showing the story of the goddess Hera, as well as several Greek temples. Leaving the music room, we enter the king's personal portrait gallery. Frederick II is a self-confessed Francophile, a lover of all things French, having this wallpaper created in France in his favorite color combination of grey and silver. The portrait gallery is a very interesting mix between mythology and everyday scenes of Frederick and his wife, yet the one wall is dedicated entirely to the goddess Venus and her husband Eros. Even the frescoed ceilings of the gallery show Venus, Eros, and their son Cupid. This is the great hallway where Frederick II would entertain many of his guests, created in the ancient Roman dome style. Frederick II was a great lover of entertaining and allowed anybody who was dressed properly to enter the palace for a visit. The colored marble here comes all the way from Carrara in Tuscany. In the Great Hall, the Greek god of the sun, Apollo, is holding an open book with a poem where he is addressing Venus on the other side of the room. Unsurprisingly, the Great Hall's dome is decorated with Greek mythological scenes, such as the Gorgon Medusa with her head being chopped off, and the owl symbolizing the Greek goddess Athena, or Minerva to the Romans. Decorated in simple Asian motifs, this is Frederick the Great's Queen's bedroom. Although it is a very small room and very sparsely decorated, it is believed that his queen Elisabetta wanted the room to be done in this style, with only a single portrait of herself with her husband. In the next room is a painting of ancient Rome with a pyramid in the back. This is one of only a few guest bedrooms in the entire palace, Sanssouci was designed with only 10 rooms in mind. Although this blue and white wallpaper seems quite modern, it was designed by King Frederick and commissioned in France. The hidden doors on the left and right lead to the private bathrooms, and the bed is at the back in an alcove. Here we see a typical scene of St. Mark's Square in Venice. Frederick II was a great lover of travelling. However, in his old age, he could not travel as much and had many paintings commissioned showing places he wished to visit. In this room, decorated with pink and white striped wallpaper overlooking the terrace, Frederick II would house his guests who were politicians. Yet again, the bed is in an alcove at the back, easily covered with curtains. In this room, showing different paintings of places that Frederick wished he could have visited, we see ancient Rome, ancient-ish Rome. We see the Vatican, and in the middle there is the obelisk given to Rome, the plain obelisk sent by Cleopatra. And over here is another obelisk, I believe, of Thutmose III. So there's a little bit of Egypt wherever you go. The final room in this chateau is the most unique. Originally named the Flower Room, then renamed the Voltaire Room after the French poet that King Frederick allowed to live in this room. Decorated in a tropical style with flowers and bird life, as well as wildlife, to bring the outside to the inside. Even the paint on the mirrors is dripping down to look as if it's melting from tropical heat or as an overgrown jungle. Cherries are the main tree that you will see throughout this room. It is believed that it was the favorite fruit of King Frederick, and that he would pay the equivalent in today's money of 100 euros for a single cherry. To the left of the entrance courtyard is the servants' area, where they would prepare meals for the king and his various guests. His scones for tea time were handed through this window to his butler, who would personally bring it to the king's private living room. Frederick had this tea set created in France in Prussian blue and gilded in gold. The main kitchen, or the savory kitchen, is a giant room with its own enormous pestle and mortar, and even an olive press. Frederick could not leave this room alone without any Greek mythology, and had these tiles made with Minoan waves.
This is amazing. I would love to have one of these at home. We could save so much.
Do you want one at home?
I want one of these at home. Can you imagine how much money we can save on electricity? We have the wood.
Even the cast iron oven is decorated with Roman deities. Next door to the savory kitchen is the bakery. going to the cellar. This is the wine cellar.
That's a cellar.
Sherry glasses. It's the wine collection. Oh, that's cute. Just to make sure we know that we're in the wine area. A little boy sitting on a barrel eating some grapes. Oh, we have these. I like these. These are the old champagne glasses. Because now we drink them in a long flute. These are the old champagne glasses. I won't go into the story. I'm sure everyone knows about the shape. In the shop at Sanssouci, at Schloss Sanssouci, it's Nefertiti. You can't escape her in this country. She's the symbol of Germany. But the best part of Sanssouci are the gardens. Topped with shining suns, this canopy marks the entrance to the grave of Frederick II. Lined with busts of Roman emperors and a giant statue of Venus with Cupid, this is the grave of Frederick II. The king sketched out the initial design for the entire garden and park all by himself, and had flowers planted in the main courtyard in a random style so that it could allow nature to blossom. Roman goddesses lined the entrance. A single column topped with the Emperor Hadrian's favorite lover, Antinous, stands adjacent to the fountain. The Greek god of the sun, Apollo, is staring down the center axis of the garden to catch the rising sun. Hera, the wife of the Greek god Zeus, is shown here holding on to her sacred peacock. The Greeks believed that peacocks pulled the chariot of Hera across the sky. The peacock became the symbol of Hera. When Zeus killed the watchman of Hera, she took the eyes of Argos and placed them in the feathers of the peacock, immortalizing him forever. Also, the peacock became the symbol of rebirth and immortality. Here we see the Roman medieval symbol of a lion with a tower and a pyramid. Frederick II often wrote about his confusion with religion, and actually passed a law at the time that allowed the practice of all religions. Following the path along the river will lead you to the orangerie, which has Egyptian-inspired architecture.
Amore,
Yes.
what did we find in Potsdam?
At the Schloss's garden, they have a giant obelisk. It's not a real obelisk. I can see it from here because it's made out of blocks. But it's interesting that an Egyptian obelisk is seen here.
Okay, we have to go and you have to go and examine it.
Yes, let's go.
Let's have a look.
To become even more Egyptian, I see some hibiscus flowers as well.
Okay. Andiamo.
The Greco-Egyptian god Serapis stares down at the obelisk. Frederick II commissioned this obelisk as the first monument before he started building Sanssouci. The glyphs on it are complete gibberish, but it is a beautiful way to mark the beginning of this beautiful palace of Sanssouci. We have just arrived back in Florence, and now we're gonna go pick up Amelia. Amelia! Amelia!
Ma c'è bisogno di stare qui.
Amelia, ciao! Finally, ciao!
No, è qui.
Let's go home, Amelia.
We are a bit slightly over dramatic.
4 days. I would like to give a big thank you to my patrons for not only supporting the vlog, but my Egyptology work and filmmaking in general. And thank you to all of you for watching and supporting my videos.